to day 3 of my new series. If you haven't stepped in or joined before, I usually have technical difficulties. No. If you haven't joined before, this is where I essentially do a quick 20-minute to 30-minute tutorial sketch or expression of self, and essentially just talk it through ideas that I come across, blocks that I face, and how I overcome them. So this series is a drawing everyday series. I have been drawing every day for about nearly the past 2 years, about a year and a half. I could find out the exact number because it's on my Instagram. Although I haven't played around with live streaming all that much until recently, where I thought it could be a good idea to invest my time, and so I have done. I've got a little setup going where I can do some filming without much thinking, and I've got a little space where I can do so. So this should be a more current process, hopefully getting it done every day. Greetings, Lily, good to see you. And they're usually going to be about 20 to 30 minutes. So bite-sized, quite approachable, and going to give you tips as well as concepts, not too much techniques, more ideas around how the mental framing of getting good at a particular skill can be generated into all skills, not just drawing. So if you take this framework and you don't want to get good at drawing, but you just like the idea of watching people draw, but you want to get good at the trumpet or a different skill, you can use these same ideas at cultivating your own interests. So that's my main objective, as well, of course, hopefully getting some level of profession from. I mean, that's the dream, right? Do what you love and never work a day in your life. So the first concept I'm going to talk about is one from James Clear, who's a writer, author. Not actually sure what else he does, but that's where I know him from. The book Atomic Habits. Now, this book, boiled down, is any skill or activity that you want to become proficient in can be boiled down into 2 minutes of your time. Now, what does this mean? Well, thank you, Lily. Appreciate the love. So what does this mean? If you have a skill, let's take drawing as the main example, since I'm drawing. and you set a timer every single day for 2 minutes, eventually, and not even eventually, every time you sit down you're going to get a little bit better, but eventually 2 minutes is going to be too easy, or you're going to enjoy the process so much that the 2 minutes will become 3 minutes, and you will forget about the timer, and the 3 minutes will become 5 minutes. Now, I've talked about this on previous streams, but I think it's a important concept, especially for beginners. If you're really in the early stages of wanting to learn something and you're just trying to get the traction, get your feet on the ground, just trying to do the thing. It's not necessarily learning all the techniques, but just sitting down and having that limbic friction work towards your goal. And there's always going to be a little bit of friction. You're not always going to want to do it. It's like working out. You know, to get stronger, you're going to have to push through a little bit of discomfort. You're not always going to want to do it, but if you want the best results, you got to stay consistent. But the good thing about working out is you only have to do it about 2 to 3 days a week. You don't have to do it every day. Whereas something like drawing, you could probably do it 2 or 3 days a week. But for me, I know if I did it like that, I'd miss a day, or I'd just forget entirely. So if you can boil down a skill where you can make it easy enough to do every single day and accessible enough to do every single day, I think that's another important process. If your notebook is in some hidden drawer in the depths of the Mariana Trench, then you're probably not going to want to draw all that much, because it's such a enduring process to get your book, sit down and draw. Whereas if you always have a notebook in your pocket and a pen, or it's sitting on your coffee table where you wake up and you see it every morning, it's going to be a lot more enticing to pursue than if it wasn't, because of the ease of access. That's why I always carry around a notebook and a pen, almost wherever I go. Almost. Not all the time. Now, this one's different from the previous days because this is a style that I've cultivated that really soothes and calms me. I'm not necessarily following any rules. And I'm not necessarily scribbling either. I'm being semi-precise with where I want to put my lines. And almost just connecting dots until I have something that I enjoy. And I think it may be easier than you realize to find your own style, because the nature of it is the style that you want to do. It's like improvising in music. Improvising in music is the easiest part of music. Why is it the easiest part of music? Because it's what you want to play. No matter how loud, quiet, complex, or simple it is, it's what you want it to play. And you can make it as easy or as hard as you want it to be. But in its essence, improvising should be the easiest. So when it comes to improvising with drawing, it should be something that you don't find stressful and that just kind of fits together. If you can find something along those lines, then it essentially becomes a meditation where you have a process in which you know will calm your nervous system. Now, for a lot of people, that is for nearly, no, I'll go as bold as saying this, for everyone, that is very beneficial. If you can find a system that is consistent in calming your nervous system, you can really shape your mental state in a positive direction. And in a world full of social media, where news is thrown at you 24/7 about who knows what, news is never good news when it's on social media or TV. Very rarely is it good news. So if you have something in which you can sit down, not quite shut off, but tune in to your body and your emotional state, and it's not always going to be positive. Sometimes you will sit down and you'll feel quite sad. That's totally normal. But it's the process of sitting down, feeling that emotional state, and whether you're consciously trying to convey it on paper or not, put it down on paper. Put your feelings of sadness on paper. Put your feelings of joy on paper. Or just draw for the sake of drawing, and your emotional state will kind of seep into it unconsciously. How are we all doing so far? Are we following? Oh, we've got a few people that I've missed, I'm sorry. Keep pushing. Oh yeah. Hello, Stacey. Hello, Raj. Hello, Barak. So a lot of what I'm going to try and pursue in these streams is a bit of motivation, skill development, of course, but more so my philosophy of why I want to draw and the benefits of drawing, and why I think everyone should learn. even if you don't show anyone. In fact, it may be even better at the start if you do it for about a year, if you don't show anyone, and you just do it for yourself. Think of it as a journaling practice. Don't have to think about it as getting it into a gallery, selling for thousands of dollars, because then it's already skewed towards a economical direction and not a emotionally translucent direction. And we want to convey our emotions, or at least I do, or express my emotions or feelings through the page. And you're always going to have doubts. Maybe not always, but more than likely there will be doubts that creep in. Heck, there was doubts today when I was setting up. But you just keep pushing, go through the limbic friction, and more often than not, at the end of it, no matter how bad you think it is, it's not that bad. It is impossible. I'll be as bold to say, impossible for a drawing to be bad. Now we can get into some deeper morality of, go into some crazy thought experiment and refute my own idea here and say, well, if you picked up the pen and paper instead of saving someone's life, is it a bad drawing? Well, yes. So, maybe there are some bad, decisionally timings of drawing, but inherently, I don't think you can do a bad drawing. Maybe I just over-analyze that a little bit too much, as I tend to do, but I think you get the point of what I'm trying to say. Is, if you followed my previous episodes, I did scribble-based drawings. I'm not too sure about the previous one, but I know day one was scribble-based drawing, where it wasn't technically very good, but I ended up enjoying it. One of my most favorites, because it was really fun. And I, at the start, didn't have a confident mindset, but throughout the process, the more I started to do it, the more I built up proof that it's possible, and something emerged from the picture, even if it was just a scribble. You can keep it as the scribble, but if you're able to turn it into something, cool. If not, cool. There's no rules when it comes to this. There's no, you have to do it a certain way. There's only the way that you do it and enjoy doing it. Now, we're coming to the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to think about how I can wrap this up in a concise manner. I'm going to finish this bottom edge, or whatever this is. Here. And I'll do the same on the other side as well. Like so. And then I will curve this in. I haven't done any shading. Just line work. Now you can use this kind of stuff for a warm-up, or you can do it just as is. Now remember, do it for you and no one else. If you enjoyed, show me some love, like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Hope you learned something or got your butt off the couch and started doing some drawing. And yeah, peace.